Several other world-famous painters live their entire lives poor, only to see their artwork sell for millions after they died. However, other artists have had the opposite experience. They figure out what they're good at and use it to create a fortune while they're still living. Michelangelo, Jasper Johns, and Claude Monet all destroy their work because they didn't like it or what it symbolized. What if they didn't squander their efforts? Their fate would be similar to that of the artists on our current list. Hello and welcome to Luxio. In this video, we'll take a look at 15 artists who became extremely wealthy overnight. But before we begin, make sure you click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you won't miss out on more of our awesome videos. Number 1. Jasper Johns. Pop art is a genre that has resurfaced multiple times in the last 2 decades. But have you ever considered where it all began? Well, you can thank Jasper Johns for that. He pretty effectively invented pop art with his work on finding innovative methods to convey ordinary things. Nevertheless, his enormously sophisticated pop art isn't why it's on the list today, even if it's one of the most simple paintings you'll ever see. It's simply called Flag, and it's still on the market for more than $35 million. Jasper had amassed a sizable fortune of $300 million towards the end of his life. Number 2. Andrew Vicari. Andrew Vicari is one of those artists who is so humble that he won't even talk about his own work for more than a minute. The man calls himself the king of painters because he knows he's a big deal. He's been creating intricate portraits of the world's wealthiest and most famous people for decades. While several of his paintings were sold individually, Prince Khalid of Saudi Arabia purchased $43 million worth of his paintings in 2001. As a result, he became one of the wealthiest painters in the United Kingdom. Number 3. Jeff Koons. We've all been captivated by balloon animals as children, even if our interest was fleeting, but Jeff Koons is an artist who rekindles that interest. His signature is balloon animal art made completely of metal. These aren't small sculptures, they're massive works of art that will grab your attention. The Balloon Dog, which was a gigantic metal sculpture of a balloon dog at Christie's New York auction house in 2013, was one of his most famous works. The sculpture was sold for $58.4 million, and even though Jeff was a well-known artist at the time, this was a piece that instantly made him wealthy. Number 4. Damien Hirst. While some artists are interested in making things appear nice, Damien Hirst is interested in death. Death is a key topic in most of his paintings, and as disturbing as his work might be, it can also be startling enough to catch and hold your attention. He can attract insane buyers because of the impression, buyers who are only interested in a portion of his creative genius. Although Hirst has been making a respectable income from his painting for the majority of his life, his newfound wealth came as a complete surprise. Hirst did something that artists didn't do at the time. On the 15th and 16th of September 2008, he skipped a gallery and sold his artwork straight to the public with his exhibition Beautiful Inside My Head Forever, and he made $198 million in just 2 days, making him a multi-millionaire overnight. Number 5. Antony Gormley. Antony Gormley is an artist that makes a strong statement with each piece of art he creates. The dude has no idea what the phrase low-key means. He creates large-scale art projects that will take your breath away as well as a lot of your money. He created many art pieces around the world, but Event Horizon stood out as one that not only looked great but also made you think about the environment around you. One of the figures he used is one of his installations, Angel of the North, sold for about $5 million. Overall, Antony has established himself as one of the most successful artists who became wealthy overnight, amassing a fortune of over $60 million on his own. Number 6. David Hockney. Another prominent figure in the pop art world is David Hockney. His works were all simple but intriguing and pleasing to the eye. While many individuals didn't grasp what made his work so remarkable, others couldn't wait to invest millions in it. His piece, Pool with Two Figures, is one of the best instances of this. This picture was part of a larger exhibition, but it caught the attention of a few millionaires. They fought over this artwork. By the time the hammer dropped, the bid had risen to $90.3 million, suddenly making him one of the world's most valuable living artists. Number 7. David Choe. Graffiti artists frequently spend their entire lives doing their own thing in the shadows. That's exactly what David Choe intended to do as well, but reality had other ideas. When Choe was still graffitiing walls in the early 2000s, his art grabbed the attention of Sean Parker, the president of Facebook before the company boomed. He requested that Choe paint numerous murals throughout the Facebook headquarters. Choe despised the concept of social media at the time, so he quoted him a price of $60,000 for the entire building and then went to work. Parker gave him the option of taking the $60K in cash or buying up $60K in business shares instead. Choe opted for it after he assured them that picking the stock might help him in the future. When Facebook went public, his shares soared to an incredible $200 million, making him a millionaire overnight. Number 8. Takashi Murakami. Some artists succeed by playing it safe, while others succeed by going all out. The second is Takashi Murakami. He pushes everything a step too far and completely disregards the consequences of his actions. As a result, a lot of his work is on the riskier side. His work has been so unique throughout his life that he was the only visual artist on Time's list of 100 most influential people in 2008. Even though we now know Takashi is the king of super flat art, the item that made him the most money was My Lonesome Cowboy, which sold for an astonishing $13.5 million at a Sotheby's New York auction in 2008 and is now worth much more. Number 9. Gerhard Richter. Gerhard Richter makes work that not everyone can appreciate. He makes blurred pieces, which means he paints anything he wants and then scrapes it all away with a squeegee. He plans to make everything hazy. I blur things to make everything equally important and unimportant, as he says. That may appear insane, but it's rather clever, and it's attracted a lot of people's attention. So much so that one of his art pieces, Abstractus Build, sold for a record-breaking $27.6 million in 2020. That's one way to make a lot of money. Number 10. Yayoi Kusama. Yayoi Kusama has a knack for coordinating her pieces such that you get a little of a package deal at every art show. To go so enormous that the world has to witness her work, she uses a lot of dots and incorporates mirror rooms into her works. She creates art for personal reasons at times and then auctions it off at other times. One of her art pieces may easily fetch $15 million on average, and she sells many each year. Not only did she become wealthy overnight when her artwork was sold for the first time, but she is getting richer by the day. Number 11. Anish Kapoor. Unless you're highly interested in art, you won't notice specific art pieces most of the time. However, Anish Kapoor is a very different kind of artist. He's the one that came up with the Chicago beam. That alone brought in roughly $23 million. This man is so good at making basic but intricate art that he doesn't always have to name it. In 2003, his work Untitled sold for $3.8 million. With pieces like that selling one after the other, the man has become a star in the art world and an incredibly wealthy artist. Number 12. Banksy. Banksy is one of those names that everyone seems to recognize. recognize whether or not they like art, and he isn't just an artist, he's essentially his own movement. Although the artist is anonymous and works behind a pseudonym, his work has crossed all borders and made headlines throughout the world. Even back then, the painting Girl with Balloon, which sold for $1.4 million at a Sotheby's auction in October 2018, was the one that really put his name on everyone's lips. When it was sold, a hidden paper shredder inside began tearing the painting, symbolizing how the world is fine with spending several $1,000,000 on a piece of art. However, the paper shredder became stuck halfway through instead of completely ruining the artwork. This simply increased the worth of the artwork. The buyer renamed it Love is in the Bin and sold it for $29.5 million at the Sotheby's Contemporary Art Sale on October 14, 2021, making it one of the most valuable works of art ever sold. Banksy's reputation and success skyrocketed as a result of this. Number 13. Pac. While NFT success still appears to be something that people merely get lucky with, Pac is one of those who has made it through NFTs. He devised a novel method of selling his NFTs. Nobody had ever done anything like it before. The artist organized his own giant sale where anyone can purchase his NFTs. It was held in the Nifty Gallery's digital sphere. 26,000 collectors gathered together to acquire the NFT, and the money he made after the auction ended was incredible. He made $91 million from the single NFT, making him one of the wealthiest artists of all time. Number 14. XCOPY. Tumblr was a popular social media platform in the past. What started as a random site for emo adolescents has evolved into a platform where people from all walks of life can share the art they've created or admired. One of those persons was XCOPY. He started making GIFs back when Tumblr was still there and had no idea they'd one day make him rich. Those GIFs eventually became NFTs, and his NFTs were such a huge hit that he made $61 million just minting them. He never expected his years-old artwork to come in handy and impact his life the way it did. And to wrap up our list today, we have number 15, Beeple. Traditional artists make up a large portion of our list today. They've created paintings or sculptures, tangible, fungible objects, but Beeple created art worth millions of dollars that you can't even touch, but you'll have to pay a lot of money to acquire it. Beeple used to exclusively sell art for around $50 to $100. However, he blew up when he got into the realm of NFTs. His NFT every day is the first 5,000 days, which he sold for an astounding $69 million at a Christie's auction. With this insane sale, he cemented people's belief that NFTs can make millions and is a legitimate sector to enter. Thousands of artists followed in the fortunate footsteps of Beeple. He not only paved the way for himself, but also for every other artist who has ever achieved fame through the NFTs. What an inspiring list if you're someone who is thinking about selling their art. It's crazy how art has evolved over the years and how much money people put down to acquire them. We even now have digital art that could make you a millionaire overnight. Do you know any artist that belongs to this list? Let us know in the comments. As always, thank you for supporting us. If you enjoy seeing videos like this, make sure you give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring and valuable content. We'll see you in the next video.